VOICEBOX is a Ticci Toby fanfiction consisting of 12 chapters and was first published on Quotev on the 29th of March 2014. Obviously, all signs point towards it being a magnum opus, so therefore I thought I would read the story together with you all, so we can dull the pain together. Each week, every Tuesday, I'll upload a new chapter. Let's call it Ticci Tuesdays. Now, it begins. VOICEBOX, a Ticci Toby love story. Chapter 7. The next month went by quickly. My birthday was in 2 days, and father planned a party and invited a lot of creepypastas. Uncle Splendor and Uncle Trender were already at the mansion helping father and Dark Phoenix decorate the ballroom. Uncle Offender and Uncle Ender were coming the day of the party. Toby and I would spend our time training, killing, and going out on dates. Well, that's romantic. Toby was the perfect boyfriend. Kind, caring, protective, and he never pushed for more than I was comfortable to give. That morning, Uncle Splendor fixed breakfast for everyone, giving father time to relax in the morning. Toby, Dark Phoenix, and I found father sitting at the head of the table reading a Human World newspaper. Phoenix and I gave father a hug and a kiss on the cheek when we came in, and I caught a glimpse of a picture in the obituary section. I was shocked. Staring out from the paper was my grandparents. "Father, is that what I think it is?" I pointed to the picture. Father looked at where I was pointing and nodded. "I'm afraid so, daughter. It seems that your grandparents died a week ago. The article says they were hit by a drunk driver on their way home from celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary." "Father, does the paper say what happened with Benna? We did not have any other living relatives." Phoenix was teary-eyed when she heard the news of our grandparents. "It says she was placed in the Sacred Hearts Orphanage. Most humans do not know this, but that orphanage is run by some very cruel people." I gave him a worried look. Father tended to understate things, so if he said that they were cruel, they were most likely sadistic people. "Father, I can't leave her there. Can I bring her to live with us?" "VOICEBOX, this is not the environment to raise a child in, especially a human child." "Yeah, sure, that's why you fucking got your daughter there, of course." "I know, Father, but I'll keep her safe and take care of her. Please, Father, I spent the last 6 years keeping her safe. I would never forgive myself if something happened to her because I'm not there." I looked up at father with wide, teary eyes. My ears laid back on my head and my lower lip pouted and trembled slightly. "I will help her, Father. I too care about Benna. She may not be our sister, but she is family, and we are all the family she has left." Phoenix gave father the same puppy dog look as I did. "Very well, but you will have to tell the others that she is off limits and watch her closely so that she does not wander off by herself." Father folded his paper as Uncle Splendor placed breakfast on the table. "I'm sorry, but I cannot take this fucking seriously when Uncle Splendor Man comes with his fucking breakfast!" "VOICEBOX, you and Toby will go rescue Benna. Dark Phoenix, I need you to stay here and help your uncles and I finish preparing for VOICEBOX's party." "Alright, Father. If it is alright, I would also like to ask Uncle Trender to help me prepare the room next to mine for Benna." "That is fine, Dark Phoenix. VOICEBOX, I know you want to leave now and rescue Benna, but you must wait until nightfall. You and Toby are to do as little killing as possible at the orphanage." "Thank you, Father." I hugged him tightly. "Take a shot." Then settled into my seat by Toby for breakfast. After breakfast, Toby and I trained until lunch as Phoenix helped finish up the decorating and started on Benna's room. Then Toby walked me to my room and kissed me sweetly before we split up to rest before our rescue mission. It was just before dinner when I woke up and changed into my killing outfit. Oh, for fuck's sakes. You have an outfit for killing? I met Toby in the dining room and we hurried through dinner and headed out to get Benna. We held hands as we ran to the portal and through the woods to the orphanage outside of the town I grew up in. The lights were all out by the time we got there, so Toby and I snuck in through the open office window. We searched through the records and found out which room was Benna's. We also found out that the couple that ran the orphanage was selling some of the children to people who make child pornography movies and ran illegal child brothels. Why is this in the fucking... No, why is this in the story? We took Benna's file and left the other files on the desk so that the police, when they arrived, would be able to find the children who had been sold if they were still alive. Toby and I nodded in agreement that the couple who ran the orphanage would not survive the night. Slowly and quietly we crept into the couple's room, and while Toby chopped the man up with his axe, I bit out the woman's vocal cords and ate them while she drowned in her own blood, unable to scream. Can you please insert some creativity when killing people? It's getting a little old that you're just eating their vocal cords all the time. Can you do something original, please? After that I wrote, "She talked too much, I'll put her voice to better use, VOICEBOX," on the wall in her blood. Wiped my hands off on her shirt, and Toby and I made our way up to Benna's room. I almost screamed when I saw Benna. Her short blonde hair was matted with blood from a head wound, and her left eye was covered in bandages. The green sweater and white skirt were covered in blood, and she was strapped to the bed with iron shackles. If the owners of the orphanage torture people, torture the kids in such broad daylight, and they fucking sell them off to child pornography, why has the police not done an investigation? Why has no one fucking, reported this to the police? I skimmed through her file to see why she was like this while Toby went back to the couple's room to find the keys. I was shocked to learn that her first day there she had gotten into a fight with an older boy and had been cut across her eye. It also says that they had several children go missing in the week, that she had been there, and that just this evening they had to knock her out after they found her using an old axe to chop the arms off one of the other boys. They had strapped her to the bed and searched to ground, and in a small corner of the yard in a wooded area, they had found a garden of arms. Further investigating showed that she had killed and buried the children who had gone missing. I smiled and my tail swished happily from side to side as I kept reading. It turns out that the couple wasn't willing to call the police, so that would mean an investigation, so they had been planning on killing her the next day if she wasn't already dead from the blow to the head. "Found them," Toby whispered as he unlocked the shackles. I let out a quiet but evil laugh. "Hey Toby, it looks like Benna's going to fit in at home just fine." Well, I guess, the serial killer thingamajiggies runs in the family. I laughed again as I told Toby what I had found out. He looked impressed as he gathered up what little Benna had, and I lifted Benna into my arms. When we got back into the woods, I used the untraceable cell phone Father had given me to call the police and make an anonymous phone call to the police. Then we all headed home. When I was close enough to home to reach Father's thoughts, I told him everything we had done and what we had learned. He was surprised that a 6-year-old was able to do what Benna had, and told me that he would meet us at the door with EJ. EJ is the only one other than Dr. Smiley who had any medical experience, so while Dr. Smiley was gone, EJ would treat any injuries that the other creepypastas had that didn't heal right away. As soon as we got to the door, Father opened it and let us in. EJ quickly took Benna to her new room and started checking her over. Father, Toby, and I met Phoenix and Masky at Benna's room and we all talked about what had happened. It is interesting. I can see that young Benna is not fully human, yet neither your aunt nor your uncle were anything but human. Father tilted his head as he seemed to stare at Benna. Her energy feels familiar, but I cannot tell whose it is. It wouldn't surprise me if she cheated on Uncle. That would explain all those nights that she didn't come home until late at night. What a despicable pair they were. I'm so glad that we killed them. Just imagine what Uncle would have done if he had found out that Benna was not his child. Phoenix, I don't even want to think about it. I'm just glad that we were able to get Benna out of there before they killed her. Well, it seems like she has some fractures in her skull, but they are healing fast. Whoever is the father of this girl, he is definitely not human. She should wake up sometime tomorrow. EJ finished examining Benna and looked over at us. I think it's best that VOICEBOX stays here in case Benna wakes up. That's fine with me. Do you think she'll be able to come to my birthday party the day after tomorrow, EJ? I'll check on her tomorrow, but if she keeps healing at this rate, then I don't see why she couldn't. Slender, if you need me, I'll be in my room. After Phoenix and Father hugged me, everyone but Toby left. I'll keep you company, Shayla. He hugged me, pulled a chair next to Benna's bed, sat down and pulled me into his lap. Thanks, Toby. I looked down at Benna and couldn't help crying a bit. Aww. I still remember the day she was born. Rebecca had died 4 years earlier and I had felt so alone and useless. Benna's birth changed everything. I wasn't alone anymore. I had a reason to live, if only to protect Benna and keep her safe from the people I had thought were my parents. For 6 years, Benna had been the only reason I didn't kill myself, and to see her broken and battered on the bed hurt so much. I should have been there for her. I shouldn't have left her. Our grandparents were old. I should have brought her with me. This is all my fault. Toby hugged me tighter and wiped away my tears. Shayla, you didn't know this would happen. This isn't your fault. Nothing that happened to you or your sister was your fault. Besides, you were there to save her. That's what's important. I cried some more into Toby's shirt as he rocked me back and forth. Hush, sweetheart. I'm here, and Benna will be fine. I eventually cried myself to sleep in Toby's arms. The next morning I woke up still in Toby's arms in the chair. He was fast asleep and I smiled at the innocent look on his face. I glanced over at the bed. Benna was looking better than she did the night before and her breathing was deep and steady. I gently shook Toby awake and told him that I was to take a quick shower and to change clothes. He nodded and said he would stay there with Benna until I was back. With a grateful look and a quick kiss, I hopped off his lap and raced to my room. I grabbed a pair of black skinny jeans, my favorite t-shirt, a clean bra and panties, and headed to take a Why the fuck do you need to describe what you wear every single fucking day? I don't care! Stop wasting my time! After a half hour, I was showered, dressed and headed back to Benna's room. I heard a crash come from her room and ran back to see what was going on. When I opened the door, I was shocked to see Benna was awake, and had somehow managed to overpower Toby. How the fuck did a 6-year-old overpower Toby? Benna had one of Toby's hatchets raised over her head and was about to swing it when I ran over and grabbed her arm. Benna, stop! You're safe now. Toby wasn't going to hurt you. Benna stiffened briefly, then looked up at me. Her bright green eye widened when she saw me. Is that you, Shayla? You sound like Shayla, and you look like a little like her, but you don't look the same as my sister. Do you like my Benna voice? This is my Benna voice from now on. Benna started as tears started falling. Oh my fucking god. Benna Bunny. It's really me. I'm really Shayla. I know I look different, but I'm still me. I'm the same Shayla who would get you up every morning and brush your hair before taking you to Miss McGregor's house in the morning. I took the hatchet from her and hugged her tightly. She didn't react at first, but soon she relaxed into me and sobbed into my shirt. Sissy, I missed you so much. Why did you leave me? Whatever I did, I won't do it again. Don't leave me again, Sissy. I promise I'll be good. She cried like her heart was breaking and clung to me as if she was afraid I would disappear if she didn't. "Oh, Bunny, of course it wasn't your fault. I had to leave you with Grandmama and Grandpapa. I don't look human anymore, and... Benna, I'm sorry to tell you, but I killed your mom and dad. Please don't hate me." I held her tightly and rocked her back and forth like I always did when she would have a nightmare. She looked up at me, her green eyes shining from tears, and gave me a little smile. "I can't hate you, sissy. I hated what Mommy would do to you. I wanted to kill Daddy so bad for hurting you like he did when Mommy wasn't home." You knew about that? I felt terrible. I thought I had at least managed to protect her from knowing that. I didn't want to have her living with that knowledge. "Yeah, sometimes Daddy would make me watch from the closet." "Oh, for fuck's sake." "He said that since he wasn't my real dad, that when I was old enough he'd make me as much a whore as Mommy is. Sissy, what's a whore?" She looked up at me with such an innocent expression on her face that I had to hug her again. "Bunny, I'll explain that to you when you turn 12, oh for fuck's sake. That's something you shouldn't have to know about at your age." Yeah, of course, she can kill people in the most brutal ways possible, but knowing what a whore is, now that's too much. Now I wish that man was still alive so I could torture and kill him again. I growled as I thought about what Uncle had planned for my sweet little bunny. My tail whipped back and forth as I hugged Benna tightly. How much more is it of this? Oh my god, there's so much more of this fucking chapter! My tail whipped back and forth as I hugged Benna tightly. "No one will ever hurt you like that and get away with it. Not as long as I live. I'll do my best to keep you safe, Bunny. I promise I will kill anyone who hurts you." "I know, sissy. You always keep me safe." She hugged me tightly and grinned up at me. "I'll never lose you again, right, sissy?" "Not as long as I live, Bunny. I may have to leave for a few days here and there, but I promise that I will come back. Now how about we get you a bath and change of clothes, then we can go down and have breakfast with the rest of our new family." "We have a new family? Did you replace me, sis?" Tears started to form in her eyes again. "No, Bunny, I couldn't..." Oh my god, I keep fucking up. "No, Bunny, I could and would never replace you. I just found a family for us, one that accepts us for who we are." I stood up and turned to Toby. I was kind of surprised that he was still there. He had been so quiet that I thought he had left. "Benna, this is my boyfriend Toby." "Sorry, Toby. I thought you were a bad man who was going to hurt me." She blushed a bit as she looked down sheepishly. "That's alright, Benna. I'm sorry I scared you. Shayla, I'll go down and tell the others that Benna is awake so they hold breakfast until you and Benna get there." "I see you when you get there." "I'll see you when you get there. If you ever get there. See you when you get there." Toby hugged us and gave me a kiss on the cheek before leaving the room. After I got Benna cleaned up and changed, though she wouldn't let me change the bandage over her eye, we headed down to the dining room. On the way down, I told her that almost everyone called me VOICEBOX, and she promised to do the same. Everyone was already there, and I introduced Benna. The boys all asked her the same questions she asked me. Sally squealed with joy at having another girl close to her age to play with, and Smile decided that he had to clean her face for her. We ate breakfast, and I explained to Benna who everyone was and how I found out that Slenderman was my real father. I assured her that no matter what she was, still my little sister. Benna wasn't at all scared of the others in the room, and she loved finding out that she had another big sister. After breakfast, I could see that Benna was starting to get tired again, so I took her back to her room and tucked her in. I told her that I was going down to train, and that if she needed me, she could ask Phoenix to bring her to the training field. She didn't want me to leave, so I promised to stay until she fell asleep. It was only 10 minutes before she was out like a light, and I headed down to train. The day went by fast. After training, I had lunch with Toby and Benna. Then Phoenix and I spent the rest of the afternoon playing Tea Party and Dress Up with Benna and Sally. Dinner passed and Benna found out that Ben had video games, so she spent the 2 hours after dinner playing with Ben, before I got her ready for bed and tucked her in. Toby came and told Benna a bedtime story and we both hugged her goodnights. This is so fucking boring! Can something happen? Toby gave me another sweet kiss before we went our separate rooms for the night. Oh, you fucking pussies, can you just fucking bang already? The next day started out with a severe pain in my back. I was almost crying from how bad my back hurt. I think Father must have been listening in, because in a second I was cradled in his arms and he was rocking me back and forth. I was in too much pain to really hear what he said, but I caught something about tendrils and over soon. I really hoped he was saying that the pain would be over soon. After what felt like an eternity, but was really only 15 minutes or so, I felt something push its way out of my back and the pain slowly faded. I rested for a few minutes before looking over my shoulders to see four sky blue tendrils coming out of my back. I thought about making them move and accidentally hit Father in the face. Fortunately, Father just laughed and assured me that he knew how difficult it was to control them when they first emerged. I giggled when Father told me a story about when he first got his tendrils. I can just imagine the shock Uncle Enderman must have felt when he found himself dangling upside down from the chandelier. Once the pain was fully gone, I hugged and kissed Father's cheek and hurried to get Benna up for breakfast. We decided to eat in our 90s since we had to get ready for the party. Phoenix, Benna, and I ran upstairs after breakfast and helped each other get ready for the party. I was starting shortly before lunch and would last until late in the night. I have to say my family really knows how to throw a good party. Benna had picked out a green party dress with white roses embroidered from the left shoulder to the right side of her waist. The roses circled her waist and the hem of her calf-length skirt. Her short blonde hair was tied back with a white ribbon, and she had a new bandage over her left eye that had a green rose embroidered on it. I was wearing a backless sky blue dress with white ivy embroidered down the long sleeves. The hem of the skirt stopped at my knees and had white ivy embroidered around it. Phoenix was wearing a short-sleeved black dress with red roses embroidered around the waist and the end of the sleeves. The skirt of the dress stopped just below her knees. We all had shoes that matched our dresses, and after Phoenix and I put on some makeup, the three of us headed down the stairs. Father had just answered the door and there stood Uncle Offender and Uncle Ender. Uncle Offender must have been arguing with Uncle Ender because his white tendrils were out and seemed aggravated about something. "Daddy!" Benna yelled as she ran up to Uncle Offender and wrapped her arms around his left leg. We were all shocked, but Uncle Offender seemed more shocked than the rest that a small girl was hanging on his leg and calling him Daddy. "Mommy said you always had the prettiest white tendrils. She said she really liked what they could do." Oh my god, that is fucking gross. "Daddy, what did she mean by that? Is this a Japanese production?" Uncle Offender looked over at Father as if asking for help. "That explains why Benna's energy felt familiar. Congratulations, brother. You have a daughter." Father sounded like he was trying not to laugh. Benna tugged on Uncle Offender's pants leg and he looked back down at her. "Daddy, you didn't answer my question." I didn't even have to see her face to know she was giving him the puppy dog look. I could tell just by the quivering tone of voice she used. Benna, I'll explain what she meant when you're... Oh, that's VoiceBox. Benna, I'll explain what she meant when you're 17. It's not really something a child should know about. Why not? Why not? It's just a natural part of the world. I could tell Uncle Offender wasn't used to children. But Sissy said almost the same thing when I asked her what a whore was. I raised an eyebrow when he looked over towards Phoenix and I. Benna, this isn't really something that people talk about at parties. Why don't we get some chips and go play video games until everyone else gets here? Ben held out his hand to Benna. She squealed with joy and practically dragged Ben out of the room. Well, this is certainly interesting. Offender, we should discuss this after the party. For now, I would like to introduce you and Ender to my long-lost... Oh, this is... I keep forgetting who's speaking. Well, this is certainly interesting. Offender, we should discuss this after the party. For now, I would like to introduce you and Ender to my long-lost daughters, VOICEBOX and Dark Phoenix. Daughters, I am sure you have guessed by now that this is your Uncle Offender and your Uncle Ender. Hello, Uncle Offender. Uncle Ender, it is nice to see you again. I believe the last time I saw you was when I was 5. Hi, it's nice to meet you. I was a little worried about finding out that Uncle Offender was Benna's father. I didn't think I could take it if he decided to take her to live with him. I just got her back, and didn't want to lose either of my sisters again. That concludes Chapter 7, and I'm gonna be honest, that chapter was most likely the fucking most painful one so far. It was so boring. Fucking like nothing happened. It was just dragging along. Jesus Christ, that was painful. Tune in next time for Chapter 8. Fuck.